Good evening, awesome ones. Well, we thank God for another day. It's been so great, it's been so nice that we are alive and kicking. COVID-19 is still reigning, but we believe in Jesus that all things are possible with Him. It's a new day, as I said earlier. You are listening to us live from the humble home of Homeland Africa's Hub. Homeland Africa's Hub, we say we do the real talk with real people, or we do the real talk for real people. It is by grace that we are alive and kicking. Homeland Africa's Hub is coming your way by the kind courtesy of some single individuals that have helped this vision in all ways, in fact, in diverse ways that they need to be recommended. Without much ado, we want to say a big thank you to the Apostle General, I call him, the founder and leader of World Changers Ministries, in the person of Apostle Emmanuel Boahen. Apostle, good evening wherever you are. Prophetess Grace Donko, you are also behind this whole project. God bless you, mommy. We have a wonderful sister all the way from the United States of America, Nana Efia Adipa, Brittany. Brittany, wherever you are tonight, we say good evening to you and we say Ayiko. You have done marvelously well. Another wonderful person that we want to say a big thank you to is our dear sister Sherry. She also lives in the United States, via Virginia. Sister Sherry, we thank you so much. In fact, words cannot explain your good work. In all angles, when we are locked up as Homeland Africa's Hub, we pick up a phone, we call on you, and you attend to us in any way you could. In fact, Sister Sherry, you are one of the master brains behind this whole project. And it's been so awesome, it's been so nice. We say God bless you wherever you are, and we are expecting more from you. In fact, without much ado, we'll be going straight to our today's topic. This is Homeland Africa's Hub. We do the real talk for real people. But it's been awesome when we started this whole project. We've been discussing, we've been deliberating on what Africa is actually doing wrong that is impeding its progress. In fact, it's another episode on the show, and we are not wasting much time. We have with us our honorable guest in the person of Senior Hon Boahen. In fact, he's our honorable member. This gentleman has been a product of Homeland Africa's Hub. He is a politician, in fact, a politician who is honest, a politician who is upstanding, and for one or two reasons, we wouldn't want to give his political affiliate. This gentleman has been a member of this. Blessing. You have to pray. So the gentleman had been a support of this whole thing. He's behind, or he's one of the master brains behind this project. In the person of Honorable Hon Boahen. In fact, this gentleman is also an entrepreneur. He had been in business for quite some time now. A very profitable, magnificent entrepreneur indeed. Mr. Boahen, or Honorable Boahen, it's good meeting you once again.
It's good meeting.
We've been talking all the time. You know, sometimes we share thoughts, we share ideas as brothers, and it's been another wonderful day or another wonderful podium meeting you here, so that we can deliberate and think more as the youth of this noble land, Africa. Yeah. And Africa, we're facing a lot of challenges, especially in the area of education, in the area of agriculture, in the area of housing, in the area of youth empowerment. The youth is actually suffering. The youth is crying. Here in Africa, in somewhere, in the world, that I wouldn't mention names. You finish school, you're done with your tertiary, your university, or whatever, or you finish with your uni, and at the end of the day, job is already awaiting. Now, in this part of our world, Africa, after school, after uni, after your college, you come back sitting home. Sometimes it's so appalling and pathetic that you see young ones, with a lot of CVs and certificates, under the armpit. CVs upon CVs, certificates upon certificates. No job. So, we are asking today that what is really the problem with Africa? What is the issue with Africa? In other words, what are we doing wrong that is impeding the progress and development of this continent, Africa? What is our problem? But to cut this whole thing into pieces, it's a broad thing, it's a broad question. Am I allowed to say that it's a curse? Senior, what's your take on this?
Yes, thanks so much. Once again, I would like to say a very big thank you to you and also to your wonderful viewers all over the world, those watching us live now on the various social media platforms, and also those who are going to watch later on YouTube and the other channels that the group is empowered with. I want to say a very big thank you to you for making time out to listen to me. Like you said, my name is Hon Emmanuel Boahen. Yes, I'm a businessman, I'm also a politician, and I'm a leader. And I also try to mentor people into greatness. Yes,
that's right.
Yes, that's it. There's something we call inclusio. Okay. Inclusio is a literary way whereby you start a conversation from the end.
That's right.
So I'm starting your conversation from the end, and I'll end with the beginning of what I actually want to say. Okay. When you ask the question, is Africa cursed? There's no curse anywhere. Okay. Even if there is any curse, every curse works with incantation, and incantation are product of words. Okay. So a man actually is a product of the words that he speaks. Okay. And he becomes a product of the words he continually hears. Okay. So when the African continually hears that he is cursed, he naturally relaxes his ability to work, his ability to be productive, his ability to be fruitful, and his ability to be significant. And he accepts the power and the energy of the word that comes with it by saying that he is cursed, but he's not. Typically people go into the scriptures and they tell us that, and the descendants of these people were cursed and we all those stuff. Look, it was a people that were cursed, the Canaanites. It was not the land that was cursed. Noah didn't curse the land of Africa. Then he himself will be cursed. He cursed the people who are the descendants of Ham, the Canaan. Why? Because of his involvement with demonic powers that God foresaw. So he cursed him. And the land that Canaan occupied was the place that God gave it to the people of Israel as the promised land. So you cannot tell me that Africa is cursed. Are you talking about in terms of land, or in terms of human resource, or in terms of capacity? We are not cursed in any way. Kwame Nkrumah said, Africa is not poor. We are well resourced. It's the people that live in a continent that are poor. Not in terms of finances, but in terms of the mental alacrity and the mental prowess to bring about and make a difference. Judging it from the other point of view, whereby you raise certain points with regards to some of the areas that Africa is not looking at. Ghana as a country imports rice. When COVID-19 became so pandemic and imminent that Ghana had to go on lockdown in the month of March, Ghana as a country annually, we import over $1 billion worth of rice into the country. We import over $600 million worth of sugar into the country. We import over $600 million worth of chicken into the country. So even if we are to take these three home commodities, i.e. sugar, rice, salt, and other home equipment, we are well able to redeem ourselves as a country and become independent economically. The Maputo Declaration that was done says that if any country is able to produce 6% of whatever they eat, they are on their way to economic independence. If any country is able to produce 6% of what the nation consumes, they are free. First problem with Africa, I don't speak about problems. We've had and heard a lot about problems. I speak about solutions. So first problem identified with Africa, wherein I want to speak it with regards to solution, is number one, we need to take the declaration of Maputo seriously so that we will produce for ourselves what we consume, okay, in terms of agriculture. Okay. I was doing a work recently on the project of cocoa jute sacks that we use to baggage cocoa. Okay. The annual cocoa trade globally is 141 billion American dollars. 141 billion American dollars is what is spent on cocoa trade annually. The largest producers of cocoa in the world are Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. Okay. Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire produces over 70% of the cocoa that is consumed in the entire world. Okay. Ghana as a country does not make more than $5 billion from cocoa per annum. Ghana don't make $5 billion. Cote d'Ivoire does not make more than $6 billion. Now the only difference Cote d'Ivoire is making quite a little higher is in terms of a little land size that they have more than Ghana. So putting Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana together, that produces the largest cocoa in the world, okay, giving to Switzerland, okay, the cocoa hub of the world, okay, 141 billion American dollars in terms of trade per annum. Ghana as a country is getting only $5 billion from this money. Why? And for the past almost about 45 or 50 years, we've had no leadership that is radical enough to bring about the change that the people want. That is the solution. Why would the people be crying and be lamenting and be mourning and be crooning their lips in hope of an anticipation? Switzerland is not crying for joy because they have learned ways and means by which they can make use of the raw cocoa you sent to them. Why? If Ghana as a country decides to go and added value of the raw materials we send outside, jobs will be immediately created in Ghana. Every container or vessel of ship that leaves the shores of Tema to furnish a foreign country outside is a vessel of unemployment brought into the country. That is what we are now looking at. So first and foremost, we can look at it in terms of broad view of agriculture. Raw material sending of cocoa, raw material sending of forget about those stuff, agriculture, of timber, raw material sending of palm nut. In the early 1960s, Malaysia was in Ghana and they took the raw material of palm nut from us. And now Malaysia is a developed country. They are transformed. Why? It is the problem of Africa, added value. Why aren't we able to add value to whatever we do? Is because the people of the West and the people of the East, now you're talking about Eastern countries like United Arab Emirates, with one city like Dubai, transforming the entire landscape of the East. Dubai, Kuwait, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Saudi. Go and check these countries. They were once upon a time nations of the desert, and they are now making a difference. Why? they made use of the single word called technology. Technology. If we are able to apply technology to the raw materials we already have here, I promise you, Your Excellency, that there will be one shortage of unemployment in Ghana. The percentage of unemployed graduates in Ghana will drop. The percentage of imports in Ghana will drop. Our cedi to dollar trade, which is now pegged at almost about 5.8 cedis per dollar, is going to drop drastically because the value of the cedi is incommensurate with the performance against the dollar, which is the accepted currency for international trade. So technology is the missing factor here. Let me dwell a little bit on why that is a problem. Then I'll come back to the issue of technology. Schools. Look at the education system of Ghana. Let's take the three traditional schools in Ghana. We can do that also with other universities. The three traditional universities in Ghana are Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Let's start with the others. University of Ghana, Legon. Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, followed by University of Cape Coast, then followed by University of Education, wherever. And now we have the University of Mines, University of Energy, University of all these things. Now, when we put the totality of all these traditional universities together, it's only one university that promises to solve the issue of technology. That is Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. When you go to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, there, a university now, you can see there's a pure deviation of the core mandate of the university. That is to one, provide and supply the inadequacies of technology in Ghana. So you go to KNUS, they're supposed to be fulfilling the mandate of the need and the demands for technology, and they are doing courses that are not problem-solving oriented courses. So one, the education of Ghana and the curriculum, the system, the structures by which we learn and by which we educate and empower our youth is quite problematic. Not empowering the youth enough to be oriented to solve the problem of the nation. Two, the system, the modus operandi, the gadgets that they are exposed to. How can you expect somebody who goes to school and writing an exam and is asked to label locust? Somebody is labeling a locust as promotion exams. Somebody is fixing a calculator as entrance exams. Compare the two of us, who's going to do better? Then, that is a problem. Until we come to a point in time where we say we are addressing the issue of Africa from the point of view of technology, we are not making any progress.
Viewers, this is Homeland Africa's Hub. We give the real talk for real people. We are streaming live on our Facebook page. We are streaming live on the YouTube channel. You could also be checking on the IG or Instagram, Twitter, or any of the social media handles. We are live there. Homeland Africa's Hub. We say Africa is our priority. Africa is what is at heart. We say Africa first. Homeland Africa's Hub. But our guest for today is Honorable Boahen. With me, your host, George W. Bam. You can call me Stevenson. Honorable, I don't know. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. We are discussing what Africa is doing wrong that is impeding its progress. Part 3. Last on my show, I said it here that what Africa is lacking is becoming unbecoming. Why do I say this? We have all it takes. We have the manganese, we have the bauxite, we have the ore, we have the manganese. I am mentioning many more. But this is a problem. There is still a problem with Africa. You mention of technology. You mention of Malaysia, where Malaysia came to Ghana to learn on palm nuts. And now Ghana is nowhere near Malaysia in agriculture, in technology, whatever. You made mention of technology. Before I come to that, even Dubai first of all discovered oil before Nigeria. Nigeria cannot compare itself to Dubai in any way. Is technology our thing? As you say, you go to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, for instance, in Ghana, and all we think they learn there is technology. But at the end of the day, you want the civil engineers who will be working on our bridges, on our roads.
And you bring the Chinese.
And you bring the Chinese. I ask myself, what did we go there to learn? You have a lot of researchers, mechanics, but you're walking on the road and your car gets, broken down on the road, you cannot move. You don't call any of those engineers there from the school. You rather go to the local magazine, what we call them Fitafo, are the people you run to. So what is the problem with the education system? I can see the pragmatism is lacking. Do we still believe in this theory, the popularly known chew and pour? You go to school, you learn, you chew into your mind, your brains, and then you come home, it's exam time, you go there for exam failure, you write, and then you go your way. At the end of the day, the skills is lacking. Personally, I call it the Gettysburg type of education. So what is wrong with the education system? That the skills is lacking. Where it's about theory. It's just theory. And the skills at the end of the day that is to be attained or to be achieved is lacking. So Senior, what do you think is the problem with the education system? Maybe linking that to the technology.
Yes. Thanks so much. First and foremost, you need to understand that our education system, which we are practicing now, is a borrowed idea.
That's right.
We took when we had independence, we took the colonial style and the colonial way of learning, and we brought it into our system.
Sure.
And that has been, you see, so when you look at most of the classrooms in Ghana, the basic educations, they are built according to colonial pattern and colonial styles. Okay. So as time went on, some of the fathers of the nations wanted to actually implement a change in the system whereby education will reflect the need of the African. So first and foremost, we need to free our minds from that slavery mentality. When you go to China, when you go to Japan, when you go to Malaysia, when you go to India, now this COVID-19 has created awareness in the mind of the West that China is not their friend, China cannot be their friend, and China cannot come with them. Because they sent 500 of the top companies in America, in the West, to China to provide and produce for them. Now they are looking for relocation. Which countries are they looking at? Right up there. All right, so when you look at the primitive man or the early fathers of our continent, I can see you're a Christian. I'm trying to be one. When God put Adam in the garden, He told Adam, God could have created the earth with the land, with everything in it for Adam. But He told Adam to manage it and to act on it. What was He telling Adam to do? He was telling him, I have given you 4 great rivers that comes into the Garden of Eden.
Take dominion.
Take dominion. River Euphrates, River Tigris, River Gishon, and River Pihon. These 4 rivers were all flowing into the garden, and all of them had abundant resources of gold. Adam had to learn galamsey and get deep into the earth and extract the diamonds and the gold that is in there. Even if a classical example is Africa, which is inundated with all the resources in the world, it's not being able to stand on its feet as yet. And the classical example is Dubai. That has nothing but desert and oil. Now it is estimated that by the year 2030, the oil reserve of Dubai will be finished. And Dubai's economy deserves on 5% of the revenue of Dubai. Do you know why? Because they realize that natural resources are limited. Okay. Human resources are limitless. Okay. So Dubai developed their human resources rather than focusing more on their natural resource, which is the oil they had. And now Dubai is the center of the entire world. Technology, when carefully understood and applied, can even work in our churches, can work in our schools, can work in our agriculture. When I was talking, I did mention of agriculture. And cocoa contributing $141 billion in the world market, and Ghana making only $5 billion maximum in a year. The difference is technology. When we increase our stance on technology and we change our mentality from consumerism and decide to go to added value. Cashew, in the year 2016 to 2015, 2016, during His Excellency John Dramani Mohammed's time, we were contributing to the nation of almost about $600 to $800 million per annum from cashew revenue. Cashew at that time was not even considered a cash crop. And at that point in time, we were making that much because we are not adding value. We were exporting raw cashew to India, to Vietnam, to Pakistan, these places in raw product. Do you know that even when you burn the cashew and you take away the husk away from it, just this simple technology of having a means by which you can burn the cashew, it quadruples the price of the cashew. Oh. Yes. So if you are buying a bag of cashew for at that time it was 800 cedis to 1,000 cedis, you'll be buying a smoked or a roasted cashew for almost about 4,000 Ghana cedis. Why aren't we investing in technology? Why, for example, we live in a country, Ghana, let me say this thing to your audiences. Ghana cannot in any way compete with Singapore in terms of technology. No. Okay, sure. Ghana cannot in any way compete with India in terms of technology. No. The Google, India, email, India, all these people, India everywhere. Africa has laid back for so long. What we can do now is to take advantage of our human resource, develop them with a technological mentality so that they can capitalize on the agriculture, which is a basic thing that we have. Kwame Nkrumah in his 1964 speech at Addis Ababa said, and it is a proven factor, that the Congo Basin, Congo as a country alone, Congo can feed the entirety of the whole world. Congo as a country, forget about the gold, forget about the titanium, forget about the uranium, forget about the platinum, forget about all those things. The land's soil quality in Congo can feed the whole, the entire world, not only in Africa. Why is Congo lacking behind? Lack of technology, lack of development of human resources. From northern region, where they call Savannah region now, northern, I'm used to the old one, for some old boy. North region, Upper East, Upper West, Burkina Faso, up to Senegal. The topography of the place is made by God, the grand architect of the universe, to the extent that it is best for rice paddy. It means any form, any type, any quality of rice which you put there will survive. And exclude water region. So it means that if Africa decides that today we are sick and tired of eating Uncle Sam rice, we are sick and tired of eating made in Indonesia and made in all these places their rice, and we are going to produce our rice and consider our rice pad from northern region to Burkina Faso and Senegal. You will produce the rice that we need for the whole West Africa. Your Excellency, we are not in any way going to import rice to this country again. Again. I was on radio talking about this thing, and the government, led by His Excellency Hon Emmanuel Boahen, has projected that by the year 2022, Ghana is going to end the importation of rice into the country. We don't need to project it to 2022 before we end the importation of this food. No.
I think Nigeria
has done it.
Started. Okay.
Look, necessity is the mother of invention. That is the first technology that we need. Hunger makes you wise and smart. Ecclesiastes, he says, it is wise to go into the house of mourning than to go into the house of rejoicing. Okay. We are already living in the house of limbo, total darkness, mourning, glooming, and loom, where the hopes of the young people are dissipated and evaporated. They have no hopes. Anyway, when we today decide that, look, in the next 6 months we are going to ban the importation of rice into the country. Every major importer of rice into the country team up with the government. Let's prioritize the importation of rice and build factories and industries. We are going to do this thing and make a mighty progress. So yes, we need to go straight into the area of technology. And that only rice, we are making $1 billion.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So yeah, thank you. You are really educating us today. This is Homeland Africa's Hub. We're giving to you the real talk for real people. Homeland Africa's Hub, we say Africa is our priority. Homeland Africa's Hub, we say Africa is fed at heart. In fact, you viewing us live from our Facebook page, Homeland Africa's Hub. We running live on your YouTube channel, and you could also be checking us on your IG or Instagram and your Twitter or any of the social media handles. Wow. Today our guest on the show is Honorable Emmanuel Boahen, and I think he's on fire. The gentleman is really educating us. With me, your host, George W. Ban. It's been a great dialogue, and we are still moving. I think we still have time. Honorable, in your speech, I could hear you agriculture. I think my last guest on the show, the founder or co-founder of Nobles Africa, Senior Patrick, was on the show last week, and we asked so many questions. In fact, we had a great dialogue pertaining to this agriculture thing. You have talked of technology, how important or relevant the technology might be into our system, and how it's going to help us. That's great. Now, agriculture on the part of the youth. Who is expected to work on our farmlands? Who is expected to become the farmer? I asked my last guest the last time that those days, when we talk of agriculture, the ordinary Ghanaian man or the ordinary African young man felt that farming was to be a punishment, and so anytime somebody went wrong, on the African continent or from the home of Africa, the only punishment one could give was to drive the culprit into the farmland to work in the form of what? Punishment, or as a sign of punishment. And so this has led to our generation that farming has seemed to be a punishment, and that we don't even find joy in that. And so the ordinary young man, African man, sometimes see it to be a tragedy. Why do I become a farmer? What farming could be something that would have been profitable to us, because COVID-19 is reigning, as I said earlier. And definitely, you don't need a soothsayer to tell you that if your care is not taken, there's going to be a famine. There's going to be a famine across the globe, not only in Africa. What is Africa doing? As I said, how do you motivate the young African to go into farming? Or who is supposed to work on the farmland? Because research shows that Africa is having about 60% of arable agricultural land. Yeah. Good for cultivating, good for any farming purpose. Yeah. So who is to work on the farmland? Okay. And how are we going to do it? And how is those people need to be motivated?
Can I answer?
Sure, you can.
Thanks so much. You see, 1974 coming down was when Zimbabwe had independence under the leadership of the late His Excellency Robert Mugabe. When they won independence, the first area of contact which Robert Mugabe was very interested in, was not in the gold. Zimbabwe has gold. It was not in all those things that Zimbabwe had. It was in the farms. And when they talk about the farms, they're talking about the land of the people. And of course, that is what created the fiasco between him and the other West in the West. When you go to South Africa today, the main bone of contentions, which some of the people feel that His Excellency, the late Nelson Mandela, didn't do a negotiation for them, was a release of the land into the hands of the indigenous people. Finally, today, as I talk with you now, China has slammed Australia with importation bans, and Australia has also responded with bans. Do you know why? China is so much interested in buying the farmlands of Australia. Yeah. Do you know why? Anybody who controls what you eat controls you.
Sure.
1945, I want to do this historical view, then I'll come back and blow it down. 1945, watch this carefully. Adolf Hitler, after he had lost the battle in April 30th, 1945, and we have been told to believe that he committed suicide by killing himself and died. All the major key players in Adolf Hitler's regime, the Nazi regime, were arrested, tried in America, New York, in America, and those who get exoneration were freed and they came back to Germany to operate. Listen to this carefully. Those who were operating with Adolf Hitler in terms of his world conquest, his eugenics theory, his projection of the iron race, the conquest of the German Empire through weapons of war, realized and understood that no, Hitler made a mistake. Conquering the world then was with war, now it's not with war. It's with agriculture and stock exchange. So you don't need to go for war again to conquer the world. Stay back. Control the land, control what they eat. You control them once and for all. So the same factories that were producing for Adolf Hitler, the gas, which was being filled into the gas chambers of Auschwitz in Germany and Poland, they are the same company that changed its name and started producing fertilizers for your land. And the name of the company is Monsanto. They went into the production of fertilizers and later they went into the production of seeds, and they now changed their name from Monsanto to Bayer. You get the correlation there? Sure. And now Monsanto as a country provides not less than 90%. They own 90% of the total seeds planted in the world today, as I talk with you now. 90%. 90% of all the food consumed in the world is by one company, Monsanto, Bayer. What is the point here? When agriculture does not end in Africa as a raw product, the young will not be motivated enough. Because I will not be willing to go into agriculture. I was watching a video yesterday on the Facebook page of Manasseh Azure, and he shared people in the north who have farmed acres of yam, and the yam is there rotting. And they asked them, what do you need? And they asked the government, they told that the government, they need roads. And I said, no, you don't need roads. You don't need roads.
Post-harvest losses.
Yes, extreme post-harvest losses is a major demotivation factor to the youth of Africa. That is why they are not going into farming. Let me give you one company like Heinz. You know Heinz, the company. They produce salad cream and all these things. There's one company that produces the sweetest. Try if you can help me. God help me. They produce this sweet chocolate, Nutella. Go and check the market cap of Nutella. Go and check the market cap of Heinz, or Heinz. Go and check the market cap of Nestle. Go and check the market cap of Nestle Africa or Nestle World. Nestle Ghana alone is to the tune of billions. Why? They take the raw material from here, go and refine it and bring it back. In short, if you want to motivate the young people to go into farming, then we need to make available through technology a means by which we can do added advantage. If all of us go into farming and we are cultivating the land, when you didn't want to talk about my political affiliation, but I mean everybody knows me. I'm into this. I'm with this. I support and I'm a member of this. When His Excellency Akufo-Addo, through his program, Planting for Food and Jobs, made a strong availability of plantain in Ghana because they were promoting the more. They started the produce started getting rotten. But you go to this same plantain, our brothers and sisters outside need it for meat fufu. There is no mechanism or system by which we can increase our capacity of adding value to the plantain. And guess what? So how do we encourage them? If you can stop the importation of salad cream, nobody will plant avocado, pear, and to get what? Sure. Because the mayonnaise we eat is a combination of two things: avocado and raw egg. So if there is a company in Ghana, a technological institution in Ghana that is into the production of or the conversion of raw materials, like say production of mayonnaise, and we slash the importation of mayonnaise into the country, everybody will want to go into farming to produce avocado. Peru, let me give 3 countries. Peru, sorry, that's not professional. Peru, Ecuador, and one other country. They are the world's greatest producers of plantain and avocado in the world. Let me end on this, then we'll come in. I want to speak well of His Majesty as something he will do for us 82 the second. Do you know of his massive agricultural contribution to Ghana? Do you know what he has done? Do you know what he's doing? He has set up, he has built one of the largest mango farms in Ghana, if not Africa, in the Bono zones. Okay. You can't go there with car. You have to be flying on top before you can assess the size of the land.
I see.
Yes. He himself, I'm saying it because he has said it.
Okay.
And now, do you know what he's going into? He said, I'm not ending it with the production of mango and it will be exported to Turkey. Rather, I am adding added advantage to the mango that we are planting here. So, I'm saying this thing per the last time I heard him. Okay. He said he's working hard to get a company to come to Ghana so that they will convert the raw mango that will be harvested into mango juice. Okay. John Simon. Let's go and check the market cap of this. Don't you take John Simon? I take John Simon every time. But the doctor told me the sugar level is too much. Fruitella and all these things that we import into the country. Imagine if we have this country here, this industry here, company here, producing. All of us will go into mango farm. Sure. Go to Akosombo, go to Pram Pram. There's a large plantation of plantain there. Sorry, mango there. And all of them are into mango for export to Turkey. Export to Turkey. Export to Turkey. Few of us are thinking about it in terms of production in Ghana. So when there's an added advantage of recycling, I used to be a bodybuilder, okay? Okay. I used to lift heavy weight in bodybuilding. Okay. Do you know that even the eggshells, in just a minute, the eggshells, they crush it and mash it and add it to the supplement you take so that you can build strong bones and build flexing muscles. Eggshells. So do you think in America, where whey protein and size up and all these supplements are produced, do you think that there will be something we call waste in poultry farming? No. They need the feathers to produce chairs. They need the skin to produce some type of upholstery and leather. They need the meat for you to eat. They need a gizzard for special works, and they are using the egg. Not the egg. The egg itself. The yolk is for baby food. The other thing, the creamy stuff when the yolk is in, is also for bodybuilders, and the shells is also for strong bones. Nothing goes wasted. Nothing goes waste in Singapore. Even their refuse is fertilizer back to the earth. That is where work begins. Africa.
Homeland Africa's Hub. We're doing the real talk for real people. You're watching us live on our Facebook page. You're watching us live on your YouTube, IG, Instagram, and Twitter. Any of the social media handles we are live streaming. Our guest today on the show is Honorable Hon Boahen, with me, your host, George W. Boahen, and we're having a great dialogue today, I guess. Wherever you are watching the show, I believe you are enjoying the show. It's all about Africa. What Africa is doing wrong that is impeding its progress and development. And this is part 3 of the episode. Senior, you have made a very wonderful submission tonight. And I'm looking at it from this perspective. As a politician, as a leader, do you think you, the politicians, are helping Africa? Do you think the past, current leaders are helping the continent of Africa? Because what you were saying, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do that. The single individual sometimes feels that, okay, I cannot just do it by myself. I want, and what do I say? Do I call it a guide or a motivation? There should be sort of rules, that governs this whole thing, and that the regulations and rules govern this farming system. Is it helping? Not just the farming system, not just the agriculture. Are the system in Africa working in favor or in support of the ordinary citizen? Who is to be blamed then? That is why I asked the question, that do you think the leaders, politicians, you are helping the continent Africa? I'm saying you because you are part of it.
All right, thanks so much. Thanks so much. You see, when people ask me this question, it keeps me thinking. It makes me think, because when I'm going to answer a question for the mistakes and the errors of people that didn't it. Okay. It's true. I wasn't there when the champion was doing his coup. I wasn't there when, the chairman Robbins had his first coup. I wasn't there. You and I were not there, but we are supposed to pay for that.
Sure.
You see, so when we always look at it from the point of view of political errors, then there can never be any political solution. Okay. The solution, the percentage of leaders, or so-called politicians who rule this country is less than 5%. And that is what happens in almost every country. Take the Flagstaff House. Take the capacity of the minister, the cabinet minister, the DCs, and they are not even up to 5% of the entire population. It was Immanuel Kant who said that it appears that every nation gets the kind of leaders they deserve. It is not the leaders that are corrupt. It's the citizens that are corrupt, and we project a corrupt leader to lead us. We don't have corrupt politicians. For example, as we are seated here, when you become a citizen and not a spectator, as was said by George Bush, and you put pressure on me now as we are seated here, when God gives me the opportunity to serve, whether in a massive throne or in a medium throne, I will remember you, your seriousness, and your demand for accountability, and I will serve you well. But because naturally we are not the people of demanding for accountability, and our judicial system supports that, we have created that atmosphere for the so-called politician to still run away with money and go. You have been in this country and the whole 30 million barrels of oil in Ghana 2017 under this government. They said it got contaminated. Sport gone. We have been in this nation. I don't want to.
I don't want us to dive into politics. When it happens like that, it's not fair to us.
I know, I understand. Yeah. But for raise, because you raise a political question.
That's right.
I need to give a political example. And what did the citizens do?
But one could also be raising countless situations under the government of governance of the NDC as well.
I got you. And what happened? Nobody is asking any question. And of course, during that time when we had guinea fowls disappearing, then tick also not being planted. Who are paying ambassadors, the people who were responsible for it have been jailed. They are still, I'm not saying this on political terms, but I'm saying on terms of when there is a citizen that demands accountability, the people will do right. That is how it works. So if you ask me what are we doing, I will tell you I am available for service. They are available for service. When Homeland Africa becomes a hub of pressure, where you put so much pressure on the government, and let me recommend a sister group like Imani Africa, led by your friend Franklin Kuju, and the other institutions, and by Simon and the rest. When you put pressure on the government, when Homeland Africa, people get the concept and the vision, not only creating avenues, zest and opportunity for the youth, but also a form of a pressure for governments in all African countries, like the visionist, as we dream of. Then at the end of the day, when there is a pressure from Homeland Africa, the government will listen to it. In 1983, which people led a protest and a strike against apartheid in South Africa. It was SHS students. All the battles and the fights and the imprisonment and all the English of Nelson Mandela couldn't bring freedom from F.W. de Klerk in South Africa. It was the march and the protest of SHS graduates in South Africa that made the world say enough. We will not let you mistreat the people of South Africa this way. It must end now. Homeland Africa must be that pressure group. That's right. That will put the government on its feet. And as a proud member of Homeland Africa, if your pressure is even going to the external person, how much more me, who is a member, when I begin to misbehave? Or think about this. Imagine if you hear that I am involved in a scandal, let's say at GMPC, and it's, let's say $200 million. How are you going to feel about me? Sure. Disappointed. Am I going to still be a member in the group? No. What is going to happen? For that, we will just keep you off. We will deal with that, and we make sure that we take every legal action against me. So that is what we're supposed to. And I'm encouraging everybody to be on board. To be able to get on board this vision and be a pressure group. At least get on board. Let your voice be heard. Let your actions be seen. Let your silence be felt. Let your eyes be seen. Let your heartbeat be experienced. That is what we mean in Africa is all about. Thanks so much.
Wow, that's very great. You know what it's talking about, man. Wherever you are, we need you on board. You know, it's an all-inclusive thing. We just cannot carry it all by ourselves alone. We need everybody on board. Everybody. Homeland Africa's Hub, we say that he who thinks and feels like a youth is always a youth. So it doesn't matter your age, wherever you are and whatever age you have, you can still be part of this project. Remember, it's towards Africa, it's towards the progress and development of Africa. Africa is at heart. Africa is first at heart. Nothing more than Africa. Homeland Africa's Hub, we say we give the real talk for real people. In fact, Sonia, we will be ending the conversation very shortly. We will be ending the conversation very shortly. And we've had a very nice discussion tonight. And I'm a great year. So, we need everybody on board, wherever you are. Nobody is exempted. Nobody. Across the globe, we need everybody on board. If you want to sponsor our show, you can call us on 0243 199 764. You can call in, or you want to become a member or a part of this noble house or noble group, you can call and join 0243 199 764. The next number will be available before I end the show. Senior, we are always about ending the show, and we cannot end the show without asking this question, because that is our main task. We are saying as Homeland Africa's Hub that we are not waiting upon the politicians, the so-called leaders, to bring development to our table. We just cannot wait that. Otherwise we'll feel disappointed one day. We'll get questions to be answered one day by the next generation, by our children's children. What are we going to tell them? As you said, we're going to be held, or we're going to be held accountable for some of this happiness and some of these mistakes. We just cannot wait until then. So what are we doing in our own small way in adding our quota to the development of Africa, which is our main mission of this hub? How are we awakening the youth? How are we motivating the youth? How are we creating the awareness to the youth that they should be awakened to add their development to their quota, or to add their quota, I beg your pardon, adding their quota to the development of Africa? How do we convince the young African?
Yes. Development is an unending reality.
Okay.
It doesn't end.
Sure.
Any nation you see now and you think we have progressed, it didn't start today.
Sure.
They started from yesteryears. And they are coming back. They are coming, sorry. Every generation had somebody who was creating an awareness and a clarion call in the mind of the generation that they found themselves in. And when the generation heard them, they became significant for the next generation ahead. So like I said during the primordial stages of my speech, don't worry so much about, you can do all at the same time. Let Homeland Africa serve the purpose of raising awareness, raising consciousness, and the rest will follow. It's like eating and going back and asking yourself, hey, the food that I've eaten, is it going to give me more hair? Is it going to give me more eyes? Is it going to give me longer nails? You can't answer it. Yours is to eat. God's is to give the increase. So what you can do is Homeland Africa creates the awareness.
Okay.
When you keep on creating the awareness, the medical doctor amongst us, who is now an E student at SHS, will be raised out of slumber.
That's right.
The mechanic amongst us, who is thinking that because of unemployment he must become a nurse by force, or must go into civil service, nurse, police, and all this thing, he will be raised out of obscurity and he will come out. Okay. So let's raise the awareness. Let's do your part, raise the awareness. Let the institution raise the awareness. And I'm sure we'll be very proud. Wow. There will be a great civil engineer amongst us who will do our bridges,
wow,
who will construct our airplanes,
wow,
who will do our tarmacs, our airports, and we'll be a very beautiful nation.
Wow.
It's all about awareness.
Wow.
Play your part.
Wow.
That's it.
Thank you. There are a lot of messages that unfortunately we couldn't read out today. But sister, what's her name? Sister Sherry. I beg your pardon, Sister Sherry. God bless you, all the way from the United States of America, VA, Virginia. God richly bless you. You have done so much in bringing this whole hub into existence. God bless you wherever you are. Another wonderful person is Nana Efia Brittany, all the way Florida, in the United States of America. You have also done so much behind this hub. God richly bless you. In fact, it's been so great. We have wonderful ones. I'm using this opportunity to also thank my wonderful viewers. You've also done so much all the time. You spend time with bundle listening to this wonderful program. God bless you. God bless you so much. And I think this is also my season of birthday, I should say. And the Homeland Africa's hub. Goodness me, Christ in me. I need to stand up. I need to give you a standing ovation. Homeland Africa's hub. It was so great. You have done so much. You know, when it was the birthday, myself, I can even say I even forgot of it. And you know, this my humble, my humble home had to wake me up early at dawn, and sort of all encouragement messages of motivation, and I don't know what to say. But I say God richly bless you guys. You're so dope, and it's been so great, you know, having you as team members. And you know, I promise we're gonna work, you know, in cohesion, in cohabitation, in, you know, in collaboration, so that we can stand and achieve greater. And Africa will be a place to visit. Africa will be a home to invest. Africa will be a home of comfortability. Africa is going to come back again. Africa is going to bounce back again. It's all about home of Africa. It's all about Africa. It's just all about Africa. In fact, we have our technical men who have been standing on their feet, since the beginning of the program, in the person of Senior Solo, who is the chief technician, who is leading the team alongside Obed, I call him Prof, and Ochi Bodebo is also standing by. Another wonderful man I would want to say a very big thank you to is the Reverend Apostle Kofi Odro. He is the founder and leader of Alabaster Church. Apostle, good evening wherever you are. I salute you. It's your son. I really respect your good works. God richly bless you and increase your anointing. Senior, yes, we are ending the show. Honorable, your last word. Your last word.
Yes. A tree that is cut down and dies at the scent of water begins to bud. And it says, Israel shall bud and blossom and bear fruits in the whole world. The budding and the blossom of the dead tree is a product of the scent of water. I want homeland Africa to be the scent of water that will minister hope to the dead tree of Africa.
Thank you. Senior, thank you very much for coming. And once again, we thank our wonderful viewers. We had our honorable guest tonight, Honorable Emmanuel Boahen. He is a member of this humble home or this humble group, and he's been playing his part very massively. He's a politician and a young entrepreneur as well. God bless you, Senior, for coming. We discussed what Africa is doing wrong that is impeding its progress, and that was part 3 on the episode. Next week we are bringing you another surprise. You had me as your host today, George W. Ban. You can call me Stevenson. There are a lot of packages in the pipeline, and they're going to be surprises. But I wouldn't want to disclose for now. But there are a lot more that are going to come your way. So whatever you are, stay tuned and wait on our next program. This program always comes your way from the humble home of Homeland Africa's Hub. Homeland Africa's Hub, we say we give the real talk for real people. And the program usually comes your way every Sunday, 8 o'clock p.m. GMT. And we come, we educate, we teach, we learn on how we can awaken the youth, realizing the need to adding our quota to the development and progress of Africa. This is our priority. We are saying we're working in a team, we're working as a group. Divided we fall, unity we stand. So let us all come together. It is an all-inclusive thing. We cannot just do it all by ourselves alone. We